Thank God, that was just a dream. Oh wait, he is that scary.
First spaceship, but that's Sludge Bomb.
Gengar is arguably one of the most mechanically challenging characters in Pokken Tournament DX. If you're a fighting game player that really likes niche and difficult combos that break your opponent and your hands, then Gengar is the perfect character for you. Gengar is a poison and ghost type Pokemon introduced all the way back in Gen 1. He also got a Mega Evolution in Pokemon X and Y. His latest appearance and upgrade came in Pokemon Sword and Shield when they gave him a Gigantamax form. But we don't really care about that because there are no Sword and Shield forms in Pokken. Without further ado, let me introduce you to SleezyWeezel, our Gengar librarian for today's nutshell guide.
Hello everyone, this is SleezyWeezel, a Gengar main for Pokken Tournament DX. I am fairly well known in the community for playing Gengar, one of the few Gengar players still active in America. Gengar's playstyle is very technical. He could be played with aggression and trickiness, having a really good bait and punish playstyle with his invincibility frames and his cancelable options. First thing to focus on is his JR, named Permeate. This move is one of Gengar's go-to options for utilizing invincibility frames, making it more difficult for your opponent to hit you.
For those who don't know what invincibility frames are, they're pretty much moments in which your character is immune to all hits for a certain period of time, allowing you to punish your opponents in case they miss an attack.
Gengar has a lot of options with invincibility, such as Permeate and Shadow Stealth, which are his main sources of invincibility. Gengar's playstyle revolves around forcing the opponent to play more patiently, forcing the opponent to not press buttons as much.
So in other words, Gengar forces the opponent to play in a more careful way, forcing the game to be slower paced and therefore more intense, correct?
Yes, indeed.
That seems like a lot to take in. What other tools does Gengar have to force his more careful playstyle?
Another important tool of Gengar's is Release X. This is Gengar's main tool for doing his combos, and also gives him synergy throughout the entire animation, which is important for getting full meter to get Mega Gengar, the strongest burst character in the game.
No kidding.
Release X is also jump cancelable, which makes it a great pressure option since it leads to Permeate and into an aerial attack, from which you continue pressure. Also, one of his other essential moves is his JA, Edgestonish. Edgestonish is a very important tool because it is Shadow Stealth cancelable.
So you've mentioned Shadow Stealth. What exactly is that?
Shadow Stealth is a technique that Gengar has where you can cancel some of his moves, granting him access to invincibility frames. Edgestonish is one of those moves that can be Shadow Stealth cancelable, which helps him keep his combos going. Other moves that are Shadow Stealth cancelable include 6Y, Release X, and Shadow Ball. While Gengar lacks a proper neutral game, some of these options can help him more neutral.
Well, that was a hefty summary, but without further ado, tell me a little bit about Gengar's field phase.
Gengar's field is definitely not the greatest in the game, having low priority in his moves, and no particular move that can consistently harass your opponent. However, he still has some tricks up his sleeves that can force the opponent to play more patiently. His main trick is his homing attack, which is invincible to highs, mid-highs, and special mids. With this being an option, you can punish opponents for spamming projectiles with that height property, and win the field phase if they're not careful enough. Gengar has trouble playing a decent neutral in field phase, so he has to play aggressive. One of the only tools Gengar has in field phase that can be somewhat useful is Neutral Y. It travels slowly, so it's best to approach your opponent while it travels across the screen and play aggressively with it. After all, it's an indestructible projectile, so no other projectile can beat it.
I never thought that Gengar's field phase was really slow, but his duel phase is much better and more aggressive, correct?
Correct. Gengar is a much better character in Duel Phase and can utilize his invincibility much better than in the field. Since his Permeate leads to better aerial options such as JY, you should always aim to use Charged Shadow Ball after knocking down your opponent. Setting a Charged Shadow Ball up on their wake up guarantees chip damage, and it can also be followed up with other options to keep pressure going.
You can also grab your opponent on their wake up before the Shadow Ball comes into contact with them. This creates a 50-50 situation. Another option Gengar has in Duel Phase is 5X, which also has invincibility frames while delivering a punching attack animation.
Finally, another option Gengar has in Duel is Curse. Curse does fairly good chip damage in exchange for spending 20 HP and is a good tool for building meter since it can build meter on whiff. It's also a good follow-up after crit counterattack.
Gengar sure has a lot of tools, huh? But what would be the optimal way to take advantage of all of this? What are some combos that he can do out of the huge amount of options that he has?
Well, his main bread and butter is starting the combo off with JY. From there, you can actually cancel the JY into Astonish. Once you do Astonish, you can Shadow Stealth cancel the move so that you can have time to continue the combo by pressing R. The tricky part is having Release X charge while doing all of this so that you can release X in time. Once you've landed Release X, you must jump cancel it and then JY into Astonish again, then finish the combo off with 2XX or Release X depending on if you want optimal damage or if you want a lot of synergy after. In order to do this entire loop though, you must do Edgestonish.
So what exactly is Edgestonish?
Edgestonish is a technique that Gengar can do which involves using only one hit of Astonish. To do Edgestonish, it is character specific. For characters like Garchomp, Charizard, Machamp, and Blastoise, you must have them high enough in the air after jump canceling Release X and doing JY, then input Astonish and cancel it. For characters like Lucario, Krogunk, Braixen, and Pikachu, you must have them not too high in the air. Input Astonish and then cancel it. If you fail to do this, you will drop the Astonish and they will air attack. This is a very important technique to learn for Gengar's bread and butter combos because you're using less PSP than doing all 4 hits of Astonish.
Okay, so what are some other combos you can do with Gengar?
Well, let's start off with Hypnosis, another move that has invincibility. If you land this move, you can essentially combo in anything you want. The most basic combo you can do from this is Grab. If you're in the corner and you land Hypnosis, you can do 2x, which will wall splat, and from there you can do Charge Shadow Punch, J, 8x, Astonish, and then 2xx or Release X to finish the combo off. In field, if you hit someone with Astonish, you can do Back Y, Homing Attack, or Release X.
Okay, so those were some nice combos, but let's talk about the actual character. What are some of the changes and game plans with Mega Gengar?
Mega Gengar is definitely a much different character than his regular form. He has much better frame data in his moves such as less lag from his dashes and better range from his normals. His moves change completely when he's in burst. For example, his 5Y is a lot better in Mega form because it has a lot more range than it does in regular form. Curse actually has hit stun unlike in regular form. His 5X, while still having invincibility, has a completely different animation where he spins like Sonic the Hedgehog, and his 8X or 2X are big lasers he shoots out. He also dishes out big damage a lot easier.
Okay, that's just insane. But what are some of this guy's weaknesses, if any?
Gengar's weakness is mainly that he's a somewhat sluggish character with a fairly slow walk speed and his combos are pretty difficult to get used to. Because of this, he heavily struggles versus characters with really good frame data and fast movements such as Decidueye, Sceptile, and Weavile.
Okay, that's reasonable. So, other than Mega Gengar, what are some other reasons to pick up this character?
If you like a character that greatly rewards execution and creativity and overall want to play a character that requires a lot of effort due to his technical aspects, and want a really good bait and punish game, then you will probably want to pick Gengar.
Alright, lastly, before you go, to anyone that would like to pick up Gengar, where should they look?
We're very helpful in teaching the characters, so if you have any questions, just drop by the Discord server. You can also check out other Gengar players on Twitter for help on the characters, such as Junior Jam and Slice.
Alright, thank you very much for coming, Sleazy.
Thank you for having me on. See ya!
And thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then leave a like and also subscribe because I'm posting a lot more content lately. Also, I recently made a Patreon, so if you want me to make videos more often and with a higher quality, be sure to check that out. I also stream on Mondays and Saturdays. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.